Okay. I think we're live already. Good morning, good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the New York session. Some of you, good morning, so that is okay. Yeah. Let's see how many traders join us on YouTube, and then we're gonna take 5 minutes for everybody to get in YouTube and also on the Zoom link. We have people in the Zoom link already, and we're gonna go from there, right? So while we're waiting in the 5 minutes, give me a quick 5 minutes to introduce you to what we do. If you're watching this webinar for the very first time, which should be shocking to me if you do that, because you should have seen some of my webinar already. My name is Anil Mangal. We do something called wave analysis, a method I have created. And it seems to be amazing. It's based on what I've learned in Elliott wave theory, in the Dow theory, and in general wave theory in life, not only just the concepts itself, but in life, wave theory, how wave works, and how the market works. And what we can tell you for sure is that I think you can see this is the market never goes up in a straight line or go down in a straight line. It goes up in patterns, and these patterns are specific. You might not be able to see them at the moment, what exactly these patterns are and what they look like, but they do exist. And we are able to define these patterns. We're able to understand how they look like. We are pretty good at, we're the best at actually identifying them and telling you what we think they're going to do, which is making forecasts for your trade. And if you're a trader, if you're an investor, the number one thing you're going to do in your life is make forecasts. If anyone tells you they're a trader and they're not making forecasts, well, they're pretty much, I think they're disillusioned about what they do, because being a trader is actually making forecasts. If you think you're a trader and you're not making forecasts, then I don't know what the hell you're doing, because your job as a trader is to say, I think this thing is going to go up, that's why I'm buying it. If you think it's going to drop and you're buying it, well, then be my guest. You're just not a trader, right? So you're making forecasts, which means you need a tool that is going to make forecasts for you with accuracy that are very high. Wave patterns and wave analysis is the only thing that I know of that actually makes forecasts. The only analysis I know that actually makes forecasts in the stock market, Forex market, crypto markets. Any other strategy people are using or method they're using for analysis does not really make forecasts. It just tells you that it will come to a point, and it might bounce off that point, it might turn off that point. It's going to bounce off a moving average. It's going to bounce off a support and resistance, but they don't tell you what it's actually going to do after that, because they don't know. These analyses don't really create patterns to tell you where you think it's, how far it's going to go, what it's going to do when it reaches that level, and all of that stuff. You can't, let's say, none other method allow you to do 3-step forecast, which means tell me what it's going to do in 3 steps. Like, is it going to go up, come down, and go back up? Only wave analysis allows you to do that, and with very high accuracy. So if you would like to learn this method, if you would like to join us in our group where we trade live every day, send me a Skype message. The Skype is in the description. That is when you scroll along at the bottom of the video, that's the description. You're going to find my Skype there. Send me a Skype message, and I'll give you all the details of how you can join us. Now, you may say, why I don't have a website? Not in the business of selling things. If you want to learn to trade, I will teach you. Now, I don't have basic strategy, what do they call this? Parcel these things up and sell it, right? Then I don't have gold and diamond and pro and all of that. If you want to learn to trade, I will teach you to be a professional trader and actually become successful. That's it. That's all. If you want to buy a basic program or a pro program or something else there, or all of that, then there's a lot of websites selling those stuff. They're in the business of selling stuff. I'm not in that business. And that's why I don't need a website. Because a website is actually you get when you want to really sell stuff, right? You break it up into all kinds of parts and you sell all kinds. I went to one website, they have about 50 different things they're selling. All about trading. And none of them will ever make you a trader. You can buy all of them, one of them, or none of them, and you will still never not be a trader. Because they're selling stuff, and stuffs don't make you a trader. You have to be practical. You have to be learning a theory and practicing it with us in the group where you have lifetime access. And 5 minutes is up. Let's go, right? From 50 to 55. So I stop there and let's start. We have Right now we have news coming up at 5:30. So we have 35 minutes to tell you everything, what we think about all the dollar pairs and all the CAD pairs and where we think they're going to go. Right? So all your questions keep for after 5:30. Until 5:30, we're going to set up for trading the news, which means we have a specific strategy of how we trade the news. It's called a momentum strategy. It's not based on how we trade in a 1 hour that I explained to you. It's totally different. It's based on a 1 minute thing. We will try to see what we can do here, but I can't promise you that I will be able to give you all the details of it. So let's go. We'll start with dollar index. Dollar index. I think the possibility of this going up is very high, which means it can break out of this because I'm looking at this as a consolidation. So in the short term, I can see this doing this, even coming down a little here. That's the short term what this can do. Because as it stands right now, there is no short-term chance for it to drop to the bottom. I don't see that possibility. I see the possibility of going back to the top. Now, can it drop to the bottom? Absolutely. The news, they can use the moment of the news to drop this to the bottom. And this small flat that you're seeing there would be all you have, right? There's a small flat here you see, you can see that. That is all you need for this to drop to the bottom. Now, if I'm going to be selling it in the news, that would be pretty dangerous because the bigger structure is not confirming that as yet. It can happen, but we don't have a confirmation. So if I'm going to do anything in the news, it will be telling me I'll buy the dollar. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to sell everything else. We will look at each currency or each instrument separately and see what patterns they have in them. And then we're going to trade the patterns. We're not trading the news. We're trading the patterns during the news. That's a different thing. So silver. Silver, we have a sell setup. Although we broke the low and we are going up, I still think we're making an expanding or running flat. So if I'm looking at a running flat, we actually have a running flat here. If I'm right about the running flat, this should drop to the bottom. So if I'm going to trade this in the news at the moment, I'll be looking for a sell setup under the low. That is what I would if I'm trading this right now. If the news doesn't have any effect on it, and 80% of the time the news has no effect on what is going, we call that non-event, nothing happened. So in that case, we will come back and we'll look whether there's a buy setup on this to break this stop before it goes down. But in the news, if something is going to go really bad, if something is going to happen that is sharp, for me, it should be to the downside. I hope that is clear. Gold. Here's the thing, we were buying gold this morning, and if you're buying it and you're in a trade, you've got to close that trade. It still looks upside. The strange thing about this is that silver looks downside, but gold still looks upside. I still think there's a possibility of this coming and breaking the top. Now, that doesn't mean that silver cannot go up. It just means if I'm going to take a trade in silver, hoping for big momentum move, it's to the downside. Whether it goes up or not is not my problem, right? Now, the same thing here. If I have to trade this in the news, it will be to the upside. If it drops to the bottom here, not my problem. I'm not looking at what the news is, positive or negative. I'm looking at what patterns I have. And the pattern that I have right now, the pattern this morning was a buy. Take it out, put the buy. Here's the problem with this buy now. Depending on your broker, you would have to decide where you're going to put that. I think we have a running flat here already. I will make an assumption that that running flat is complete. I'm not sure it is, which means it can drop one more, make a bigger running flat, and then go. But you would have to stay away from this price by the amount that your broker is going to widen your spread. I don't know how much your broker is going to widen your spread by, but that's a call you would have to make. Euro, I'm just giving you a sense of direction. I'm not even giving you a trade. I'm telling you how we would trade this in our trading room during the news. Well, close to how we would trade it. We're not going to be trading this, but if we're going to take a trade on this, my traders, if you want to put it, use it for the sell. That should be enough. Yeah, that should be enough. Use it for the sell. So we're going to put this as a sell, just to remind us what we're looking at. Pound, if you bought this already and you're still in the trade, close the trade. You have to close all your trade, take off all your entry orders before the news. Now, in the big picture of things, I think I told you that when we started buying pound from the very bottom here, that in the big picture of things, I think pound is coming up to the top here. Now, it's very sharp. It's not relatively, it's very sharp actually, although you get all those pullback and it is moving really fast. We can look for a buy setup in the pound, and I don't think it's going to correct itself. Even if it corrects, not my problem. We'll be looking for a buy setup. That is 1990. Go somewhere around 2010, 2015, which is just above the top. 2019 will do that. It's just above the top. Stay above the top. The price is, no, the price is, sorry, 1992. So you, yeah, 2019 would be more than enough. Stay just above the top here. Don't go too close, right? 92, 11 would be too close. Bring it a little higher. 14. No, 92, that will be 12, and you got to go 22. You got to go 20. You have to stay here. Stay somewhere above the 20. No, you need to be somewhere at 12. 12. My fault, sorry. So go somewhere around 17, 18. Keep it there. That's the entry order, right? So that's the entry for the upside. This would be a buy setup. Aussie. Aussie is a dilemma. It's consolidating too much here, which means when you get so much consolidation and the upside is limited, right? The upside is just, even if it goes, I don't think we're going to take off. We did break the low, right? So the dilemma with this is two things. One, you break the low is broken. So they can take off like a rocket, and that would be pretty okay, right? The second thing is it's not going as an impulse. It's stuck here going sideways for hours and hours and hours, which when that happens, tend to drop again. So I say we stay out of the Aussie, totally. Don't sell it, don't buy it. Because, and if you're in the trade at any point in time, I don't know why you should be, but if you're in, close it. I am more inclined to believe they're going to spike to the upside. I might be wrong, but if I'm going to be taking any trade, or if anyone will be inclined of taking the trade in the Aussie, take it as a buy, not as a sell. We're going to be neutral in it, right? So I'll put that neutral and you decide. New Zealand, definitely a sell. I don't care if this thing go up, but when you get something like this, the only thing you can think about is a sell setup. So we'll use it as a sell. Let's see, 20 pips is going to be where that is at 61.19. So 60.93, you can go higher. 98 would be okay. Stay under the low, which is, let me go into 15 and find where that low is. Yeah, this is okay. We're actually staying under this low, and that is good enough for me. Right, so put it like this, and if we're getting under this low, it's going to be here. That will be 61.02. No, that's too close. Come under this low. Stay under this one, just for safety's sake, because it's already coming down. So that's a sell setup. Yen. If you bought it and you got tagged, close the trade. I still think we can go with the buy on the yen. Now, there's a good chance that this is just a flat. There's a very good chance that this is just a flat here and we're going down, which means it's not going, this is not a correction for upside, but a flat for downside. So you can go both ways on the yen. You can choose to take one way. Don't put both sides in it. We're not straddling this thing. This is not a straddle strategy, right? This is a strategy based on wave analysis. So you can put a sell here, which means if you think the downside is going to happen, great. If you think the upside is going to happen, which means if you think this here is a small flat and we're going to go up more, go with the buy. Both of those are possible right now. The buy would have to be somewhere. You can go with the sell closer than this, right? My traders know that. The sell has to be here, nowhere closer. The buy can go here. I think that should be 78. Yeah, that should be okay for the buy setup. CAD. Well, it did break the low. So what did we ask for? We said break the low and make a flag. Well, not exactly the flag I was expecting, right? They did consolidate, but not the flag that I was expecting. But we can take it as a sell, because that is what we asked for, and that is what you get. Put the sell here, and that is going to be 13 to 37. Perfect. You can put it closer. Put it just under the low. That is going to be 17 to 37. Yep, that's about it. Go 2 pips lower just in case. I need a few pips lower. So that's a trade setup for the sell. If it goes up, not my business. So we're selling this. Now, if you're a little confused about the direction, which means euro sell, CAD sell, don't be confused. We're not trading the news. We're not trying to say what dollar is going to do. We're trading patterns that we have in each individual loan. We don't need, by the way, you're not supposed to take more than 2 trades. You're supposed to take 1 trade for dollar weakness and 1 trade for dollar strength based on the patterns we have. Right? That's how we trade it. This is not you putting on all those trades, because when that thing starts to move like crazy, you wouldn't have the time to manage or to exit all these trades. And you have to exit them really fast. So for those of you who just joined us, good afternoon. if you may want to just watch us do this for the next 30 minutes until 5:30 and don't take any trade. News is coming up, it can really damage you. What I'm doing is setting up the trades for my traders who have a specific strategy in how they're going to trade this, right? It's a specific momentum strategy. Now, it's not only knowing the strategies, and know the rules of exit, how fast and how quick you would have to make a decision to exit this. Normally, when we're in the trading room, I would do it, which means I would go in the lower time frame up to the 1 minute. That's where that strategy is executed on the 1 minute. And I would make the decisions and all the trades. Okay, take break even now, move your stop, stay with this one. The losses on this trade is very, very, very low. It hardly takes you out, right? It happens, but it's very low. It doesn't happen very often. 80% of the time we trade all the news event, 80% of the time nothing happens, which means it's just a non-event. The 20% of the time when something happens, about 10% we end up with break even. Maybe even more than 10, I should say about 12, 13%. But nothing, you get in, but you get out, right? Because it doesn't go as far as you want it to go, or it doesn't give you enough profit to take the profit off. Or it comes back too fast and you exit the trade, right? But when it does go, you end up with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times to 1 when it really goes where it goes, right? So that's the whole point of why we do it every time. And it's fun to do. Literally, it's fun to do, right? So let's go. Swiss. You need some fun in trading, right? You can't make it all time serious. Swiss came down. We don't have a trade. Not for the upside, not for the downside. And let's see. I'm going to go through natural gas. Some of you may want to trade this during the news. It's a sell setup, but very short term. Remember that we still don't have this one. So even if this drop, it could probably just drop like this and start to pull back really fast, right? So there is a chance. It's a sell setup, but that's a risk in it. Oil, definitely a sell setup. And the same thing here. We are only expecting this to break this low and then go back up. Now, if it drops through the bottom, good for you. But you have to be aware that when it breaks this low, it can pull back up for the oil sell. You will also have to decide where you're putting that entry so that it doesn't tag you. If it goes up higher, it doesn't drag you with the widening of the spread. Your broker will do that for you, widen the spread for you. So you have to be careful. We didn't get the trade set up here, right? Now, we broke the low. So I am not expecting them to go down. Those were 2 really good trades this week. I'm not expecting them to go down much more. I'm expecting them to start the up move. That doesn't mean you can't drop one more. But basically, we're expecting this to happen now, which means we need a flag here to buy, right? We don't have a flag, and it could consolidate and drop one more. We don't have consolidation. So we're going to stay out of these. But these trades were amazing. If you got even one of them, congratulations. If you got both of them, you're amazing. And who says we can make forecasts and we don't know where it's going to go? I think there was one guy making noise. We never get any winning trade. He should have come here every day, because every day we at least had one winning trade. So let's go. Take that off, take this off, take this off. All 3 of them are the same thing. We're not going to do anything. And this, sorry, not the oil. The oil is a sell. And this one, we don't have anything to trade. So that's all for what we look at. Now we go look at the CAD. We still have CAD news coming up. So I'm going to go up and look at all the CAD pairs. Starting with Euro CAD, Pound CAD, let's see, Pound CAD, all the Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD is at the bottom. We'll go back to that. If I'm going to do anything in the Pound CAD, it's a sell, but we don't have a setup, right? No setup for the sell, so we'll leave it alone. We let it drop, and then we let it pull back, and then we'll sell it. So I'll take that off. We're looking for a sell setup. It's just not there. Euro CAD, we do have a sell setup possible. Let me see. Yeah, we can go with the sell setup. It's coming down. It's you got a small running flat possibilities. Go with the sell, put it under the low for the sell. Do we have enough for that? That is 14.27 to 14.45. Yeah, 25. Put it a little lower. Put it like something like this, maybe 23 or something like that. That should work. So we're looking for a sell in the Euro CAD. I'll put that as a sell. CAD yen, let's see. CAD yen, let's see what CAD yen has. Can we go for the buy on the CAD yen? We do have something that is forming there, but both sides possible. It's pretty much like the dollar yen, both sides possible. You can look at this as a small flat forming, or you can look at this as a small flag for upside. If I'm going to go with this, I'll go with the downside just to be on the safe side. I'll go with the sell setup, which is a good counter for the Euro CAD if you're trading only the CAD pairs. Dollar CAD we already have as a sell setup. So that's a counter to the CAD yen, because if the CAD is going to drop, the CAD yen is going to go up. Right? So let's go see what the Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD has. CAD Swiss, it's already dropped a lot, so I don't think there is more to go. We spoke about that, and there's more to go here, but I don't think the sell is a good idea to use. New Zealand CAD, okay, the upside is still possible if you're tagged, close the trade and put the buy setup to come back to the top. We're expecting this to go up, so you have to decide where you put the entry order. I really don't like it very much because this is the top, and that's not very far away from where you will have to start a reverse. And if after the news we come back, that is a buy setup. So it is a buy setup, but not unless you can get very good in it. Georgie, if you can really make that very well, I think it's pretty dangerous in the news. After the news would be a good idea. And Aussie CAD, the structure is not very clear too. So Aussie CAD is kind of going up, but we have this flat here. And it's not really breaking out, right? It's not really, it pulled back here. So they can tag the top, but then when they do, you might end up with a flat for downside. So buying it is dangerous. There is no sell setup, but on the risky trade, if you really want to counter the dollar, well, the dollar CAD is a sell. So you can put this one as a sell if you want. That's a safer one. If they go up, it wouldn't bother you, but if they go up, tag you and start to fall, it might be a better trade. So we look at it this way, right? Now, if you're a little confused of what I just did, and that I could agree with, because what we're trying to do, remember I told you this is the momentum strategy. So we're looking at an immediate possibility of where this pattern can go. Sometimes we see the direction of the pattern, but we don't have enough risk to reward on that. So like this one, I think it's going to go up. But we don't have enough risk to reward on the buy in a news event that is moving really fast. So what we're going to do is we will allow that to happen. Go to break the top and then either come back or continue to go, doesn't matter. But if it should drop, and sometimes it could drop, in this case, it could drop, you would have a contracting flat somewhere at the top or in the entire structure. If it starts dropping from here, you want to trade, because when it breaks this top, the possibilities it will still come back. So we're looking for a longer direction. Sometimes they don't complete the pattern during the news on the longer direction and they drop. That's the 20% of the time when the pattern is not ideal. It's not perfect. Right? So let's go. We have how much? 7 more minutes to go. Any questions on the CAD pairs and the dollar pairs? Anyone, any questions? All the other pairs we will look at just after the news. Give me 5 more minutes and then we'll look at them. Gold, dollar gold we're buying. I think somebody asked for gold, we're buying gold. There's CAD views as well. I just ran through all the CAD pairs. So my traders in our group and the installment traders, if you know the setup, the installment traders remember the setup and how to manage the trades, you can do it. If you don't, then we'll come back. So I'll put it in the euro. Normally we go with something that is neutral. That doesn't have anything. We'll just leave the euro. Let's look at let's start with the pound, because the pound is the buy setup and this is the more risky one. So we'll go with the pound. I'll put it in the 1 minute and we'll wait for that trade. If it's a non-event, you don't have to do anything. There is a 1 minute flag for downside. The pound could go down from here, but let's see. So once the news is out, because we have so many pairs, my traders, the pairs you're tagged on, you will write it in the chat and I'll look at them immediately. If we're tagged on anything, most likely it's a non-event. I don't see them really moving a lot now because most of the pairs are still in consolidation. So even pound, it has moved quite a lot. It probably will just stay in consolidation for a while more. Maybe the whole of today will be in consolidation and then go. All other trades after the news. Let's wait for a couple of minutes more and then after that we'll go. It's just about 5 more minutes. Anything else? NASDAQ, we're going for, I don't think we have anything on any one of them because they're still consolidating. Like, see, it kind of go up, but there's not enough consolidation for a buy, not enough for a sell. So we're just staying out of it, see? There's not enough consolidation for a sell. This could go break the low. I think if there's a sell, this would be the only one for the sell. The others broke the low already, so they can be in the buy setup. So we'll just wait on that. I think that just stay out of them. After the news will come back, and then you'll get a trade. Because after the news, it will be better. So come back here. Let's wait. We're going to go into 1 minute and we're going to wait. If anything move too much, you will have to keep your distance, my traders. There is news in 5 minutes, I think. Oh, in 15 minutes. Sorry, I thought it was 5 minutes. Now it's 16. We have 14 minutes more for the news. It's 5:30. Okay. So in 40 minutes, we can take some questions. So the setup is there. You guys set your trade up. Let's go, please. All our questions. So yeah, we can take what questions. So let's say we can take questions for 5 minutes more, so and then we can go. What questions? What do you guys want to look at? Euros. Let's start with that. Somebody wants Euros. Euros is starting to reverse. Maybe let's go. We have to go back to the higher time frame. Sorry. Nah, it's kind of consolidating. You'll probably consolidate just like this one. See this one here? You'll probably consolidate here for a while. I think this is going to come back, maybe make a flat here and then go one more. This pullback is deep. I don't see them dropping us yet. So wait for that consolidation and then one more up. What else? What else you guys want? What's wrong with SIVB? Is that a dollar sign instead of the SIVB? Can you tell me which one you're looking for? What's wrong with stocks? Oh, we don't have enough consolidation in them for the trade and the news. After the news, we'll come back. I just did Euros and somebody came back immediately in Euros. We're even on it right now. No trade setup. It's still consolidating. It's in a consolidation. So this will probably do that. Come back here and then you'll get a setup. The flat is incomplete. OP. What is that? Okay, I'm going to assume that is this one. Let's go on the 4 hours. It's dropping. It actually has a flat here for downside. That thing is already $4. Where did it come from? You may want to stay away from this. I don't know if this is the real thing, but you may want to stay away from that because it's still dropping, right? It's dropping some more. I think it will drop some more. And then probably at some point, you might get a sharp move like this. Actually, if you wait for a setup like this, wait for this impulse and that consolidation, and then put an entry, or if you're lucky, you get this. So wait for this to drop, come back up, do this, go sideways here, and then put an entry order here and see if you get that. Because that is possible. If they did it once, they can do it again. Or this thing collapsed totally. So that's one of the options. Let's see what else we have. US 30. US 30 doesn't have anything in front of the news. We'll have to wait. We just looked at it, nothing. Oh, you're looking for OP USDT. That's a cryptocurrency. See, that's the thing. You have to give me the full one. Because there is an OP out there. Are you looking for this one? That's why I want to know why you're trading that thing. Let's go with this. Come on. Okay, so this one is still coming. You do have a flat here, right? You do have something like a flat there, so it could go back up. Let's see in the 4 hours, 1 hour. This could go back up. I wouldn't be surprised because you can make an argument for a perfect expanding flat forming here. This is what you do. Wait to see if it goes back up there, make a flag like this, and then go for the trade out. If you're selling, you need a consolidation like that. See? But the buy is possible to come back and break this top. So keep an eye out for the buy setup, most likely. Right. So we did this already. Keep a thing out for this. Okay, what else? We still have 10 more minutes to go. Any other questions? Any other things you want to look at quick in the next 10 minutes before we go back to the trading? Mana USDT. I think we looked at that this morning, and maybe there's not much change from this morning to now. Let's see. I had it somewhere here. I'm pretty sure we looked at it this morning. Oh, it's here. I still think it's going down. We don't have anything else so far. So you just wait for consolidation and go for the sell. If you think this is a running flat, put an entry under the low. There is a possibility you can look at this as a running flat. Put an entry here, because if it drops to the bottom, that's a trade. I'll keep a stop here in that trade. How do you enter a position? I mean, what time frame do you use to enter in a position? Where do you put stop loss? Boo. That's a nice name to enter with. This is the first time you're in the session. We had, I think this is the 10th session for the week. This is the first time you're in? A yes or a no, quick?
No, he has been more times.
Well, just go back and watch all the webinar. Take a notepad, sit down and see all the trade setups I did. Right, so you'll have a very clear idea. You will see the time frame, you will see where we enter, you will see the stop loss, you will see what we did with the trade. If in the next session and the next session, follow all the sessions, we did all of them, so you'll have a very clear idea. Now, there's not only one strategy, there are many strategies we use to trade, depending on what we're trading. But for that information, you would have to join the group. To learn the strategies, you have to get in the group, but you can have an idea what we do here, basically. Can you analyze gold, please? Yep, that's the third or the fourth request for gold. And we looked at it every time, right? So we're looking right now on gold, we're looking for a buy setup. We're assuming that this here is making some kind of a flat and that it's going to go back up one more. Now it can drop, but we don't have the sell setup on it, so we're looking for the buy setup. Okay, gold is coming down, so that's good. That gives you an advantage in the buy. What about CME gap that Bitcoin did? What about the gap? I don't know. I don't care about the gaps. I don't trade gaps. You know what a gap is? A gap is a movement of the market. Basically, from here to here, if you actually have the real data, you have about 20 gaps. You know that, right? Because every time price drop very sharp from one point to another point, it's a gap. The only reason you don't see a gap here is because we color a candlestick in it. Those are data, right? So when you're looking at the gaps on the CME, what they're saying is that this is when the market opened, this is where the price opened. This is where the market closed today, this is where price. The market could open the next day at an absolutely different point. Now, if you're using a candlestick, you will draw a candlestick between those 2 points and you'll color it. Now, if you take out the candlestick, all you find is a gap between between 2 points of a price. See, that's the difference of what we do in our group. You get knowledge in the group of exactly what's happening in the market. So you're not fooled by gaps, people who trade gaps and people who say they'll come back to that gap. There is nothing to prove that, right? That's the point. Not that they don't come back to some gaps, but there's nothing to prove that they will go and color. If price drop from point X to point Z, it doesn't have to go back to point X, right? There is nothing that proves that it has to, unless you're looking at something specific that says, well, based on this specific pattern, it's going to go back to that direction. Then yes, and then you don't even need a gap for that. It could just come down slowly and go back up slowly. That's the difference. The difference of the kind of knowledge you're getting when you're there and when you're in our group. So anybody tell you about gaps, tell them all charts have gaps. The reason they're not seeing the gaps is because they're using something to connect those dots and they're coloring it. You can first take out the color and then you second take out the dark thing and just put points where price was at any given time. All you will have is a lot of dots on the chart. And between those dots, there'll be a lot of gaps. I'll look at DAX. Let's see, we have time for DAX. Yes, we have time. We're going to look at DAX. So somebody asked me, remember somebody asked me basic stuff very early, and I said, go learn all this stuff on Google. Google them. Just Google them. Sometimes you need to do some research and Google things, and so in the field that you're in. I do that very often when I don't understand something or I don't know something. I Google it and then I start doing research. You know, you're looking for solid research, not from information from Mr. X or Mr. Z, right? You're looking for information from resources that are really good, right? Solid resources. That's the one you learn from. DAX. Somebody want DAX. Let's go. Okay, so here's the deal now. This is the good thing. This is a good point to watch it. We have this 1, 2, 3 down. And remember, we were selling it yesterday because we broke the top, right? I explained that whole process. Go back and watch that video. So now if this consolidates in this range here, that means only in this range. We're selling. We're still selling. But if it stays above this level here, if this thing goes up anymore or stays above this level and consolidates here, we're buying. Right? That is very clear right now, right? So if you get a flag here, we're buying. If it stays down here, we're selling. That's it. That's how simple it is. Now, there's a lot of reason behind that. I'm not teaching you all the reasons behind it. I'm just showing you what is going to happen and how we're going to react to it. Only one of those two things are going to happen right now. Right? Remember, the market can, at any given time, do only 3 things. We have 3 more minutes. I'm going to go to the euro. Not the euro, I'm going to go to the pound. Yep. By the way, yes, the chat GTP can give you good information. I've never used it. I read about it, but I've never used it. But it seems like, yes, that's the new big thing that is giving you better information, right? So, but it has gaps in it, right? Remember, it's new, so it had gaps in it where people are getting some really crazy information out of it as well. It's not filled with all the right information. The artificial intelligence could pick up some. I think they were showing it in one of these video where they were showing that some question was asked and the answers were really, really weird, right? So remember that part too, that thing is new. It doesn't have all the correct information as yet to filter it itself. And it might give you some weird things. So we have, this is 1989. That's, yeah, we're good. Keep it right here. Don't bring it too close. You can bring it a few pips closer. I think 15 would be good. That's it. I'm going to go to the 1 minute and we're waiting for that news event, right? We're waiting. Most times nothing happens, so don't worry. We're just going to stop what we're doing and we're going to go right back to trading. It could, Victor just direct messaged me that he tried it with a few questions and it's off track. Of course, it's still very, very new. Not all the information, it's gathering information, but the sources of information are so much that sometimes it's gathered the wrong information. CAD tag close trade. If CAD tag you close the trade, move the entry lower. Don't let it tag you before the news. By rule, we don't let that happen because it can go the opposite direction after the news, right? No, oh yes, if CAD is tagged, we definitely have to take this out and put it lower. That is a problem. I like the downside, but you don't let it tag you before the news. Probably if you can't put it lower, just take it off completely. No problem, Vic. I read it for them. So let me see where we are. That is, you don't let it tag you before the news. Definitely. See what happens. It could still go, but that's not the point. So take this off. The news is already out. Let me go back to the pound and let's see if it's it looks like a non-event. Okay, you're tagged in the pound. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to monitor how it goes now and then we'll decide. It's going the way we expect it to go. You're going to be tagged in a lot of trade. Now it's going to be held to monitor all of them. So you guys know how to monitor your trade. Wait for the 1 minute to close, wait for the second minute, wait for progression. If we don't get, I'll indicate. This one will give an indication if the progression is stopping, right? So the CAD is a sad one because I like the trade. It's just that you don't let it tag you before the news. They're kind of pulling back a lot. I don't like that so much, but no problem. Better to be off that trade. So the second candle is pulling back pretty deep, which is not good. That means the momentum is dying out. We'll watch how the second candle closes, and then we'll make a decision. You don't have to run. There's no need to panic here. Now your stop loss from where we had it. We had your stop loss here. You're going to bring the stop loss to under this candle immediately. You're putting your stop loss exactly here now. Right now that you're tagged in the trade, your stop loss goes there, which means if it comes back. So let me go back very quick on the 1 hour, show you where your stop loss, where you calculated your stop. So your calculated stop is under this low, right? That is here on the 1 hour. In the 15, your stop loss is here. On the 1 minute now, you're going to bring your stop loss from this point, which is from this point here under this low, and you're going to bring it under this low. Right? That's where you put your stop loss now. Everybody, you move your stop loss to that one. Let's go. We want to see this candle close. We want to see the next candle break the top. If the next candle doesn't break the top, you can take off the trade. The next candle has to break the top. If it doesn't break the top, take off the trade. Right? So it's not breaking the top. It's coming back deep. I don't like that. We'll probably close the trade. Take break even. Close the trade. Break even. Because it has to go up and show you momentum. Right? So I hope you manage to get break even, close the trade, and don't keep it. All of you that have a possibility, if you didn't close the break even, said this candle will pull back, the next candle will open, close the trade. And make sure you keep your stop here, don't move it. Because if they reverse this, that's it. So I hope you manage to close the break even. Right, that is why when we're in the group, we're faster in getting out of it. Because once you see that doesn't go and this one goes there, pull back, you're going to close it. If you didn't close it, use this opportunity now to close the trade. Good. Take your break-even trade. It can go a few pips up more and you'll get break-even. So close because momentum is finished. See? That's it. That's the end of the momentum. That's the momentum strategy. You have to have continuous momentum. If the momentum stops, we get out of the trade. So that's it. All your trades you're supposed to be out of, regardless of which one you're in. All right, give me 1 second. Close. So if it goes back up, doesn't matter. We're not keeping the trade for if this goes back up because the momentum is gone, right? This is momentum strategy. It's working in 1 minute, it's specific. Now we can go back at a higher time frame and trade. I still think it's possibly going to go. You can't jump in the trade now. You will wait for this to make a flag, and it will make a flag. You see that deep pullback there? They'll come back still inside. They'll probably break the top and come back. You'll get a 5 minutes flag, and you can trade that one, right? You might even get a 1 hour flag. So if you go into 5 minutes, you can see this close, they'll probably pull back. And the 1 minute, this one goes back up, they will still pull back. This would hardly break the top. And if it does, it has to pull back because this was a sharp move. So they'll break the top and pull back slightly, right? When they do, you'll have to get out if you didn't, but I hope you got out. So when this pulls back here, we'll start to get a flag. And that's when you're going to trade it. So based on the momentum strategy, you're out of the trade and wait for another flag. It will make flag. It's not going to take off like a rocket. The idea that they take off like a rocket is not really. So we can go through all of them now. Let's go back into 15 minutes. We can stay on the 5 minutes because if you're looking for momentum, you look for a 5 minute trade. See, that's the thing about this trade is that sometimes it spoils a really good trade. This was a really good entry here without the news, right? You're in gold. Let's take a look. Did gold pull back? Let's see the depth of the pullback if it did. Yeah, it pulled back. So when it pulled back, if you're in gold, you want to close the trade, right? Close that trade if you want, because you see, it's not going very much, right? It's not going to take off now like a rocket. That believe from our experience, if their momentum is not there in the second and the third and the fourth candle in the 1 minute, it stops, right? So it might still go up a little more, but it's going to pull back. So get out of the trade for break even. That's the point. All of them take break even, right? So it start pulling back this one and they'll pull back. All will pull back. This one will pull back too. In my experience, they will pull back. They don't really go without pulling back. Aussie went really nice. So let's see how deep all Aussie pull back in. We would have managed each one individually in the room, but in this case, you didn't. Aussie, you probably could have been saved by. This is the 1 minute. The first minute came here and the second minute was at the top there. So Aussie, you would close here. Right? You close that for profit. Right? The first pullback minute was this one. We didn't close in the first one. Right? The first minute you're not closing. The second mint actually opened and went back. So if you close Aussie here or here, you did well. Probably not this one, you close it, then you pull back there. So you got some profit. If you didn't, you close it now, right? Don't keep this. It doesn't matter if it is going to go, because the momentum strategy is different, right? You have to wait for the momentum to come back or wait for a flag. So now when it breaks this top, when Aussie breaks that top, the possibility is it can reverse, because we could look at this as a possible expanding flat. See? You can look at it as a possible expanding flat. We will see if it's an expanding flat when it gets there. Any flag here could be a buy to break the top. Now, if they start to reverse, this sell, we will take it. We'll definitely take this out. So take this off. When you have really strong momentum, the second candle go and the third candle go and the fourth candle go. Those are the ones we keep. Right? Those are the ones. You see, it's still pulling back. So from my experience, they don't go far, they pull back. If the second and the third candle doesn't go, you're not going anywhere. Rarely. So they will all pull back. And that's why we exit them, because the momentum is finished. This one has gone up a little too. Okay, so now we would look at this also as a possible, take this out, as a possible big flat. Since we never broke the low, this is a perfect expanding flat in here. See? This is a perfect expanding flat, which means we're looking for the sell setup. So let's go. We're going to go through the trades now in the 1 hour, and we're going to be looking for 1 hour sell setups. And this is how you're going to trade it. You can immediately put a sell setup here in the 1 hour. This is a 1 hour trade, right? Forget that we're buying here and we close it. That's a momentum, right? And this one is a sell. If you're taking the trade here, your stop has to be above this stop here. The trade is a longer trade, right? You're going to get much bigger thing in it. If we can get a sell in here, which means if it stops and makes a flag like this, see this flag here? If this comes here and make a flag, that is the flag we will sell for the downside. All of you know that, right? So we're going to go, yep, this sell. So let's go for this. So let's start from the dollar index. Dollar index dropped, nothing new. That expected that it's going to drop. The bigger picture is still upside, right? I still think this thing could go back up because this is really, really slow. Now, the only way we can expect that it's going to continue to go down is that you want to see this stop and make a flag. You can sell the flag or break through the low and make a flag. I don't think they're going to break through completely. We're going to see. Silver. Yep, silver is a sell setup. Good one. I would go with an expanding flat here and a sell setup. Now, the only way we're going to buy this, this one did break the low, right? Silver did break the low. I think silver and gold broke the low. So New Zealand didn't break the low. So when they break the low, you can either assume that is all the flat. This is the end of the structure. We're going up. That's one option. That's why we were buying gold and Pong, gold and Pong and Aussie. We are buying them because they broke the low. Right. So in this case, what we're looking for is that if this is going to continue to go up, this would have been a perfect trade out of the news. Right, out of the news, that would be a perfect trade. In the news, no, we can't take the risk. So if it is an expanding flat, what is going to happen is you're going to see a reversal. You're going to see a flag and we will sell it. If it's going up, now when you break that top, you want another flag. We had a flag here, but that's the news, spoil that one. So we want the flag above here, and then we go with the trade. Makes a flag there, we go with the trade. Gold, pretty much the same thing. It's pulling back, so get out for break even, like I said. And this is what we're expecting. I still think gold is coming to this level. So either it goes right now or they pull back like this and then go, right? I think we're coming to this level. So we'll still get a buy setup. If we get a flag here, buy it. If it pulls back, go for the bigger running flat and buy it. Those are the two options, right? We're looking for a buy, not a sell. If we're going to get a sell, it has to drop here, make a flag. That is not today. That's Monday. Euro, perfect. Leave the sell here. That thing is still a sell. Leave the sell here. I don't see this becoming an impulse to the upside. No way. I don't visualize this as becoming an impulse to the upside. Right? This is really, 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 really slow. At some point, if it does make a flag here, yeah, we'll consider that a trade to the upside to break this top. And that would be at least 6 hours. If I'm going to buy this, I need a 6 hours flag there. That's the minimum, right? Pong is the only one I think could continue to go. if, like I told you that in the very start of the week when we started to buy the Pong at the bottom there, that Pong is the only one I think could continue to come to this top. Now, if everything goes down, Pong will have to go down if it's a dollar movement, but Pong is going to go down more as a consolidation. We'll get more of a consolidation here. For as long as everything is dropping, Pong would continue to consolidate downwards and then buy. So next week, if you're not going to be with us, we might be looking at a lot of buy setups on the Pong to the upside. If you're going to be with us, you will get access to these 2 live sessions to join us and trade. Now, if you're already with us in the installment program to get access to the live session, great. If you're not and you would like to join us, send me a Skype message. The Skype is in the description of every one of my videos. Send me a message and you'll get the thing how you can join an installment program. Is pretty cheap. It will cost you nothing but a coffee a day, and that coffee will go to pay for for you to get full access to the group. So you're actually getting the webinar free. You're getting the webinar free, but you still have to show us indication that you're willing to join the group. So send me a message and you will get access to it. So I think there were one trader who actually paid exactly 100 every month. And he took, I think he paid a little, at the end he paid out everything. So he took about a year or year and a half or so to complete the payment. At all of that time, he had the webinar free, helping him to make money before he paid out the entire sum. Most traders pay it out before a year. Majority of the traders who join the installment program pay out the full sum before the year. Once they get to 1,000 and they realize they're making money, they're paying out everything and then joining the group. So let's go. Aussie. Now we can look for a sell setup because this looks very much like an expanding flat, right? So we look for a sell setup. Better to get the sell setup from the top. So you want this to go down, make a flag, and sell it. Now you can put an entry out of here, but then you'll have to put a stopper, which is not a wise thing to do. So let's try to get a sell from here. What if we were wrong about that? Because we broke the low. This was the flat and this is totally going up. Well, in that case, what you would have to do is wait for this to make another flag. It made a flag here. That is the flag we bought. The news came, spoil our trade. The news actually spoiled the trade because if there wasn't the news, we'd still be in the trade. So the news can spoil the trade, right? And now we're looking for a next flag. I would look for a flag on the 15 minutes. So I would wait for this to give me a flag on the 15 minutes to get the trade. And that would be a good one. Still keep in mind the possibility of an expanding flag. So when it breaks that up, any flag is a perfect flag for the upside. New Zealand, we broke the top. So now we will see if we make a flag, or this one didn't break the low. So this is an expanding flag. There's no question about it. This expanding flag can go up or it can go down, right? This could be an expanding flag to totally go up or expanding flag to drop. If you ask me, it looks more downside. But the last time, the same thing, we thought about this, right? This one came back to the low, so we thought we'll get a flat here and then drop. And instead it go up. So if you get a correction like this, you buy it. If you get a correction like this here, you don't even need a correction. You just need a flag. You buy that to the upside. Don't chase it. It will make flag. You chase it and then you'll get yourself in trouble because they'll make flag. Yen. Downside. Yep. That would have been a great sell if you sold it. I don't think this is a sell. This is if you're going to take that sell off if you're in it. Definitely take it off because it didn't go very far enough. So take it off. Let's take this off. Wait for a flag now. If it continues to go down, wait for a flag. We want this sell to the downside in the yen. It's a big one. Don't sell this flag. That is too big. Wait for this to make a small flag and then go for it. Wait for this to make a small flag here and then go for this trade. You will have a better risk to reward trade in that case. CAD, we definitely want to sell. It's a sad thing it tagged you before the news, but from my experience, we've got tagged before the news and then it just went the opposite direction. You don't want that to happen to you. But we want CAD to the downside. It would have been a perfect sell without the news, right? We would have sold this. So I was all in to sell it before. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about what's gone. Worry about what you're going to get. You're going to get a flag here. Now that you have this as your impulse, this flag would be a perfect sell. So Monday, we're definitely selling this. I don't know if we'll get a flag today. You need a flag about 2 or 3 hours. So if you're going to be still trading in the next 2 or 3 hours, you could probably get a flag for the sell. If not, I can go for a 5 minutes flag even, but no, wait for it to make something, right? You want something like this. So it'll probably start doing that, and then it's a perfect sell. You don't have to worry about if you're going to get risk to reward, because this is coming. I could tell you where we expect that to go, and I'm pretty much sure by 80% or more it's going to get there. So we're expecting this to go break the low. So if you thought that that thing has moved away already, think again. It hasn't gone anywhere. It is just making the first impulse for the downside. Break this low. And if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, it could come and retest this low. If we think this is 1, 2, 3, do we have divergence? No, we don't. So we're likely going to go back up. Right? We don't have divergence. So when this comes and break this low here, you're likely going to go back and break this down. Right? So, but it's a big trade to the downside. If you thought you missed a lot, don't get too emotional about that little piece, because this one is coming here. Next flag up and you're coming there. Wait for the 15 minutes flag and then go for the sell. So you still have about how many 100 pips to the bottom? You still have about 700 pips to the bottom. Wait for the flag. You're going to get a good trade. So it's a pity we got tagged before the news, because this one would have been perfect. This I doubt this pullback on the 1 minute. Let's see. Nope, this didn't give you that pullback. We would have been in this trade. I think it did. Let me see. If it's a first minute only pullback, you'll still be, the first minute pullback, so you'll still be in this trade. See? We had the entry under the low. I think we had the entry somewhere here. This was the first minute pullback. The second minute drop back to the low, so you stay with the trade. You put it at break even and you stay with it. All the candles keep going down. See? Perfect. This is the one that would have worked perfect for us. That's the one that got spoiled. Wait for the pullback. It will always make a consolidation. So we will get another flat like this on the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes before it goes again. You'll get another flat like this. So somewhere here, it's going to start to make another one like that, and then it's going to drop again, and then it will come back for a bigger one on the 1 hour. Right? Okay. How much is the cost of the group? Okay, once more. If you want to join the whole group, it's $2,500. You get lifetime access for that. It might look like it's expensive now, but let me calculate for you. We have right now at least 4 traders here who are with me for more than 4 years, right? So 4 years multiplied by 300 and how much days? How many days? We trade for like how much months? 11 months. So let's say 11 months. That is 44. Multiply by 20 days a month, right? So that's a 0, that's 8, and that's 8. Right? So that's how much 880 for 1 year. That's how much days we trade. Each day has about 3 sessions. Minimum 3 sessions, that's for sure. Sometimes 5 sessions, sometimes more. That's 0, 3 8s. 8 to 16, 8 3 is 24. Is that correct? 4, 8 to 16, 8 3 is 24. Yeah, 4 and 2, you get 4 and 2, 26. That's how much sessions you get per year. Now you're paying how much? 2,500. And the rest of your life, you get access to that. For the rest of your life. It's costing you $1 a day for the next 4 years. And then after that, you're pretty much free. You would learn to trade. Now you're going to make more than $1 a day. Right? So it's pretty, if you take this trade or any of the other trade we took this week that made you money, you'll make more $1 a day. So it's a one-time payment. And you get lifetime access. You get, beside that, you get training. You're not paying for all those stuff I showed you. All those stuff are free. The only thing you're paying for is for me to train you. That's a 6 weeks training session that you will be with me having theories and having practice and all those stuff. Everything else, free of cost, including the knowledge. You're paying for my time. 6 weeks of my time, the rest of my time is free. Okay, and if you don't have the money to join immediately, you can join the installment program. See the punk pulling back? We're pretty good at this analysis, right? When we told you the momentum is not going to go, it's not going to go. But you're making a flag there, which is good for you, you guys. If it makes a flag here, go with the flag. Any questions? So, okay, guys, here's the thing. It's Friday. The market just moved. which means the market will start to go into consolidation. It's not going to keep moving forever. It will stop going to consolidation. Most of those things will go into consolidation. Did any of the CAD pairs move? CAD, beside that one, anybody follow the CAD pairs? We totally forget about those. We didn't do anything with this, but this didn't go anywhere. What about EuroCAD? EuroCAD, the sell is still good, but it didn't really go anywhere much. Actually, the EuroCAD here is a perfect sell because now you have a flat. You have this flat and you have this flat. That's a perfect sell setup with a stop above the top. I like this trade. So we've got a perfect sell setup in the Euro flat. Once it breaks the low, you wait to see how fast it's going, whether it doesn't go, right? What else? Somebody's asking for anything else. So we can take probably a few more minutes, take a few more questions if you guys have. I was going to show you something more important than just one trade. Somebody had asked a question, I think it was yesterday, we didn't get to answer something about, I think something about how the movement, something with patterns and how they move or something, or what's creating pattern. I can't remember what was the question, but I wanted to elaborate on that for you guys. If all of you are up for that, we can end this session with a nice little thing for you. What create patterns and how these patterns actually work. Everybody up for that? Give me some yeses. So we can decide if we're going to do it or not. No? Okay. We'll just skip it there. We'll skip it and go on. Okay. What else you guys want to look at then? Yen, dollar yen. Let's go. It came back to the bottom here. So put it like this. Do this way. I would assume that this is making a flat here, and that flat should be for downside, regardless, right? So you've got a 1, 2, 3. We went up to the top, right? So put it like this. We broke the top. It's coming down. Wait for a flag and sell it, right? Oh, okay. I realize now there's a 30-minute gap on the on YouTube. By the time they hear me and by the time they answer, 30 seconds is a minute before we get the yeses. I was wondering why is everybody so quiet, but we are getting some of the yeses now. So yes, my fault. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll do it very quick. I'll try not to board my traders because they already got it. Okay, my traders, tell me what other trades you want to look at first, and then we'll do that. Pong yen, somebody wants a pong yen. Watch all the yen pairs for downside. If the yen starts to drop, watch all the yen pairs for downside. Take this off, that was the buy. Right, watch all of them. See that drop from the top? If it makes a flag here, sell it. James, keep an eye on this. If it stays in this range, sell it. If it goes back to the top, consider this an expanding flat. If it makes a flag anywhere between here and here, buy the flag. If it doesn't make a flag, take the top. Good? Good. Yeah, you got it. Silver complete the flat pattern. You have to wait for the setup, right? It doesn't matter that it goes to the top, right? You have to wait for them to confirm. Remember, silver broke the low. So if this is going up, and it can go up quite a lot, if silver is going to go up, here's where it's going to go. Don't chase the upside because that is moving. If silver is going up, we're coming to break this stop here. Or we're coming back as a bigger consolidation. So if silver is going up, you definitely want to flag with it before it confirms. So we broke the low here, right? And if they want to turn to the upside, it can turn to the upside. Now you would have to wait for this to come down and make a flag like this. And this would be your buy setup. So baby. Multek. Еще рановато нет. Давай, послушай Chrome пока. Okay? Good. Multek, как Лиза придет. Okay, sorry, my son just ran in. He wants to watch cartoons. I'm babysitting him. My wife took the other kid to the clinic. Let's go. Aussie Swiss, Euro Swiss, 4-hour structure almost over. Could it go up next on the weekly? If it's over, yes. Wait for the setup. It could go. ASX. What is that? Did I miss anything on the other side? CAD Swiss, New Zealand Swiss. So a lot of trades, you guys. We'll have to go through all these charts like that. Let me go through a few very quick. I think we have CAD Swiss here. It's pulling back really sharp, but it's not an impulse yes until you break out of all of this. So it still looks downside. New Zealand Swiss. downside. There's a flag. That's a perfect sell setup. Let's see Aussie Swiss too. Yep, it's pulling back, so you can make an argument for a possible flat here. Right? A possible running flat for downside. This will have to go up really sharp and then not pull back. Go up sharp and then stay there. Right? Let's see what else we're looking at. Aussie yen. Somebody asked Aussie yen. Aussie yen still looks upside, but now you'll have to wait for it. I hope you took this off before the news, right? Before the news, you normally take these off. Now you'd have to wait to see whether it's making a running flat here. So it still looks upside even on this piece. I'll wait to see if it does this and then go. Right? I'll look at something like this for the upside. What else we have? Okay, there's too many trades there. And a lot of them we don't have that you guys are asking for. ASX. We do look at the Aussie Swiss. We look at Euro Swiss already. Euro Swiss, I didn't look at. Let's look at the Euro Swiss. Somebody's asking the Euro Swiss. Did the Euro Swiss remain at the bottom? No, this pound Swiss. Euro Swiss is at the bottom, yes. Let me take a quick look at it and then we'll go. So here's what we're gonna do. Somebody said the 4-hour structures are over, right? Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Look for the upside now. This one is amazing because you remember, right? When we got this wheel and this starts to come down low, we focus the upside, we focus the downside. This buy is amazing because it could totally go, or it could go there and come back here, depending on how you look at the whole structure. If you look at this as a 1, 2, 3, I think that is correct. You get 1, 2, 3. This trade to the upside will be very huge. You guys want to be with us next week for this trade. Wait for the setup. You don't have anything as yet, but I like that setup for the upside. Perfect. Keep an eye on it. Because so far it worked exactly the way we wanted it to go, right? I don't know why we move away to Euro Swiss, right? That is what the traders vote for, right? We move this, but look at that forecast that we did. Perfect. The drop is good. And now the next forecast will be this one going up. This going up all the way to the top on the daily. Let me show you the daily structure. Yeah, that's a daily consolidation. And we think this is going to go way back to the top there. So let's see. I like it.
Sorry, can this be a Swiss move also? Because there's other Swiss pairs.
Yep, let's see. Yes, a lot of Swiss pairs to the upside. Let's see if it's a Swiss move. We can look at that. Dollar Swiss. Possible. Not necessary, but possible. Let's see. Because the Swiss, it didn't break the top, right? Remember that one didn't break the top. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually goes back to the top there, right? Because it didn't break the top this time here. It could also be not the Swiss move. The majors are moving. It could help. We'll see which one moves it. I wouldn't be surprised though if the Swiss actually goes back up, right? Because I'll take this out. That one is not. This is not valid. It will only be valid if we break the top. So we didn't break the top, and we'll assume that this is a smaller version here. And this could go back up. So yes, we can look for that possibility too. If all of them have it, then definitely upside. We can look at all of them in the trading room on Monday morning. We can put all the Swiss together and look at that. No problem. Welcome. Okay, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys a quick short lesson about wave patterns and wave analysis so you can go. Some of you might have heard it before. Don't get too bored. You just refresh your memory with it, right? So one person was asking about gaps. So let me tell you what gaps is. So at the present moment, regardless of what you're looking at X and the price is here. And then the price goes there, and then it goes there, and it goes there, and it goes there, and the price keeps doing this. These are the price that transactions are actually happening in. There are a lot of gaps between them, right? Then the price goes there. What you're going to get between here is a gap. All we do is we color it with a candlestick. So when you're looking at a chart, think of data. Don't think of candlestick. Don't think of lines. Don't think of Ichimoku cloud. Don't think of anything. Think of data. Data being plotted on a chart. What the data is showing you is the price movement against time. That's a little math I just taught you there, right? price movement against time. So what would happen is every given minute, second, or minute, you're going to plot what the price is doing. And you might see the price doing this, which means you're getting a really sharp move to the upside. And then you'll find that price starts to go like this. Really, lot of clusters, millions of clusters, just staying within this range, right? So what you're actually saying is that all the buys and sell orders are being filled within this range. And what you're going to get is something we call a consolidation like this. Now, consolidations are different. I'm simplifying it here for you, right? You also get corrections. Right, let's go with consolidation first. Consolidation is a smaller correction like this. And depending on what is happening in this consolidation and how you read into the bigger pattern, the chances are it's going to do this again, which means you're going to get the same price movement up again. You could even get a gap from here. So let's say Friday afternoon, the price was here. Monday, the price can open here. And the price can just continue to go. Without coming back here, there's no need for a price to come back and fill any bloody gap. Anybody who tells you that has very little understanding of what the market is doing, right? Because you have gaps all over all the time. If this is new to you, start Googling, start learning a lot more about trades and how market works and all of that. And what is a chart, by the way, and how it works. So what you're actually getting is price movement. So now the price moves away. Will it ever come back to this area here? Yeah. Why not? It's wave analysis. They do like this all the time, right? It's wave. And then you have bigger waves, which this wave will go there and then even come back here and then go back there. We just showed you a few patterns like that just now. So the idea that price will come back and fill that gap is more a myth than anything. It will come back. We know that, right? But that's not your trade. So this would be up, right? That is what it does. When you're looking at patterns now, what create patterns is that when you get a huge movement, when it's moving in any direction, price cannot go up forever. At some point, it has to stop because everybody's too scared to buy or nobody wants to buy, or the market manipulators decided they've got to bring it down back, and they will bring it down back like this, and they will start to do something like this and do something like this. And these are what we create patterns, bigger patterns. If you can read how that pattern is behaving, you can tell with an 80% plus accuracy where the market will go. And then you can know that when it comes here, it's going to take off. Now, you can also tell whether it's just going to break this top and go back down, or whether it's going to take off like a rocket. That will depend on how you look at a bigger daily pattern. Now, here's the news for you that probably you didn't hear anywhere before, or nobody should ever tell you this. The chart is always making a single pattern. Only one pattern is in the chart all the time, starting from the yearly chart. So you take any chart that is a yearly chart, all the charts, and what you're going to see in it is one pattern, just one, not more than one pattern. But inside of that pattern are millions of patterns of different time frame. That's called the fractal nature of the market. I think I just showed you one, so we're going to show you now this one. We're going to show you, I think the CAD Swiss was the one that had Euro Swiss. I think somebody asked me if that is ready for the upside. The pattern is complete. That's a nice pattern to show you because it's simple. It's clear, Euro Swiss. Right? It's a simple, clear pattern. So let's go to the weekly and let's start with this. See all those charts I drew there? Starting from here, coming down. See that one? See this one? You see I draw it both ways? This, I told you when it's going to go up, I told you when it's going to come down, and I told you when it's going to go back up. And you notice they actually stopped at each one of those points, and then they come down back here, right? And, well, I don't know why I don't have that one. I had that one on, and then it comes here. And then we're showing you this one that could literally go there. Now, when it goes there, we will decide at that point in time if we think it's going to come back down or if it's going to continue to go all the way to this top. Are we looking at something that is bigger here? That's the magic, right? So you can learn this stuff if you want. Remember, I told you at any given time, it's making one pattern. I can go all the way to the monthly and show you a single pattern. That is one pattern I just showed you there, right? Let's go to the 3 months. I want to get all the charts I can possibly get. Okay, we'll have to use the IDC for that. Let's see. IDC also doesn't have a lot of it, but Okay, we'll have to have the yearly charts, but let's just take this piece alone for what we have. You're looking at a 1, you're looking at a 2, and you're looking at a 3. Isn't that amazing? That's a flag. This is what you call a flag. That's a monthly flag. Put an entry here, put a stop here, and go for this trade. If that was a 60 minutes, that's what you do. See how perfect it is? Because it exists every single year, all the time. And that's the amazing thing of wave analysis. Right? This is the only an analytical method that will show you that as crystal clear as I show you. No support and resistance anywhere, no nonsense. When you're talking about plotting charts with data, there is no support and resistance in the data. There simple isn't any. When you're talking about supply and demand, that only relates to commodities, where there is a limit of supply, right? It relates to anything that has a limit of supply, maybe oil, maybe wheat, corn, all of that, because the supply is limited at any given time, right? Or the demand for oil in winter is much more than the demand. Currencies doesn't have that. Cryptocurrencies doesn't have supply and demand in it. It's all manipulation. Currencies is not only manipulation, it's also business and governments deciding where they want their currencies to be. And also manipulation when you sanction somebody. You can make their currency become nothing, especially if it's a small economy, like Venezuela, like Iran, like Turkey, like all the small economies that you can control. Like Zimbabwe at one time, I think you had to have a truck to go to shop to bring Zimbabwe to carry money. Right? And I also mentioned it then that it's not going to happen to Russia. Go back and look at my webinar. When they started to put the sanction on Russia, I said, it's not going to happen to Russia for one simple reason: the darn country is too big. It's a huge country with resource beyond your imagination. It's the only country in this world right now that has a massive amount of resource untouched. You know why? Because it's 1/6 of the earth. Look at the earth, take out 1/6, and imagine that's just one country with all the resources there. And you're talking about resources that they haven't even touched us yet. Because those are land with forests that nobody's ever touched. You think there are no resources in there? A lot of it. You know where the periodic table was created? In Russia. So that's why treating Russia like Venezuela, and I'm not talking politics, I'm talking currency, and expect that you can manipulate their currency that much is not going to happen. You have to look at the size of the country, the volume of the country, the level the country is developed to, and then you would know that it's not going to be that easy to manipulate the currency of that country. And that is why I was insisting, and don't worry about that spike, it's going to come back down. All of that is part of wave analysis as well. Right? Understanding currency, understanding what it's going to do. So indicators and all those stuff, you don't need to see this. So if you guys would like to learn this, if you would like to become a pro in this, because I don't know how long more I have here. I hope I have another 100 years on this earth. I hope I don't. I hope that happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. But you can learn this stuff and become an independent trader by yourself. That's what we train our traders to do, to become independent traders by themselves. So if I'm not here, and a lot of times when I'm in hospital and I'm on holiday and I'm not here, my trading room is working every single day, all the sessions, because there are enough independent traders there. When I leave here, those traders go in the trading room without me and trade. That's the point, make you independent, because you don't have to be dependent on anyone to tell you. That doesn't mean you still don't trade in a group. You still trade in a group. It's amazing fun to do that. So if you would like to join us, that's a little plug in there for you. If you'd like to join us, send me a Skype message and I'll give you all the details. Any questions? Go ahead. I can take about 5 minutes questions and then I'll go. Manus, is it still a sell in the 15 minutes? I think all the cryptos, let's go look at it for you. Here's the thing, and that is why you should join the group. You should definitely, if you ask me the same question 3 times within a 1 hour period, whether you should sell that thing, you should definitely join the group, which means you are not an independent trader as yet. No hurt feelings, right? I'm not meaning anything bad with you. I'm just telling you, you need a lot of guidance, which means we want to make you independent. The 15-minute sell is gone. That is why I'm always saying be careful of these 15 minutes here, because that sell is gone. Break. It's coming up really sharp, so look for a bigger correction. That's all. I only see a bigger correction at the moment, right? Which means you're looking at a bigger correction like this, a bigger correction like this. I think we still have this open as a bigger correction, which means I wouldn't be surprised if they do this and then drop. So when you get a sharp move like that, you wait to see whether it's make a bigger correction. It could stay right in this range and correct and then drop. Look for something like this, 1, 2, 3. It will take a while, right? We're going to go into much of that. Let me see. We have it no extensive. You have to stay longer than me, and you wanted me to add at least 200 years. Victor is going to live forever. Don't worry. Victor is one happy-going person. When people are that happy, they will live forever. I am too stressed out sometimes. I'm not a happy person like Victor. Not that I don't have happiness, but I'm not as happy as Victor, right? The most easygoing person I've met in my life. Literally, I mean that. Anybody who deals with Victor will tell you he's easygoing. He has patience, like unlimited amount of patience. When I get tired of traders asking me crazy questions, I send them to Victor. And he will take his time and answer them to every question that you don't even need to answer them to. Victor is going to take his time and he's going to send you a PowerPoint how to log into the webinars. I'm like, dude, how long have you been logging on to Zoom? You still don't know how to log on to Zoom? Victor is going to give you a PowerPoint how you should log on to Zoom. That's his answer. My answer is totally different. That's why I have patience in teaching people. I have impatience with ignorance. I mean willful ignorance. I have to say that, willful ignorance. When traders are willfully being lazy to do the work, and I see that a lot. Like traders would not go and just do this to get in. They would rather ask you. And I'm like, dude, like, come on. You know you can go do this and you will get the thing to go, right? But you would rather ask me, so I do the work for you. That kind of laziness, my patience run out. Victor has patience for that, right? Just want to take the opportunity. Thank you for giving us this lesson here. Well, thank you very much for those kind words. I don't know if I'm the best, but I'm glad at least you think so, because my son and my family do think so. Right? My family do think I'm a very good person, but let's see. So you guys, you're welcome. Have a great day. Trade with care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the fun with your family. And stay safe, stay healthy. That's the number one thing, right? Stay healthy. You can trade with us next week. Many thanks to all of you for coming and for taking your time. I would encourage you to go and watch some of those videos again and again, because it is important. I'll encourage you to share it with other traders, because the sad part is when a trader find my video and wrote me that he wished he'd find it a year earlier, right? So if you guys can help spread it, you might be able to save somebody. Most of you are here because my traders have been spreading it and they've been sharing it and liking it and making comments. And that will also be, helpful to you. You can save somebody, I mean, rewards will come. Karma does exist. You do good, good will come to you, right? So at some point, somebody will do some good to you, not necessarily the same person you help. So stay safe, stay healthy, share those videos, watch them. You don't have to, you can take your own time and watch them and then share it with a trader and let him pass it on. If everybody pass it on, I think we will reach enough traders that we can help. And if I see a lot of views on there over the weekend, who knows, maybe I'll repeat it the week after, right? So if I see that there's an interest amount of people, not just you watching it, but new viewers watching it, right? We can see when new viewers are watching it. I can look at the stats on YouTube, and if I can see that there's a great interest from new viewers watching my video, we might be able to repeat it in a week or two. So please help share it, and you will get a chance of getting a free one again. Take care, trade with care. Bye. Thanks, everyone.